Good morning, Martian citizens, and welcome to the first ever broadcast of Cement City Racing. This is your host and announcer coming at you pre-recorded all the way from the eastern Gaslands. It is a beautiful day here on Earth, perfect for the debut of our new amateur division. We will be following new faces on their hunt for fame, fortune, and sponsorship deals. We got locals, we got northern wastelanders, we got people all the way from the eastern archipelago. All of today's contestants are unaffiliated and are looking to secure sponsorship deals. And now that they are ready, let us go over to meet the drivers. Hailing from the northern wasteland, we have the bounty hunter Xanadu. She will be driving 8 o'clock, a well-kept vehicle armed with a machine gun and an oil slick dropper. She has chosen a good event to debut in. A straightforward race very much suits this car. There are plenty of Cement City locals looking to make a name for themselves here on Earth, but Johnny Handbrake isn't one of them. His family is well known in the racing circuit, and this is his chance to live up to his name. He is driving the Roadrunner, and he is accompanied by his mechanic Carrie Canary. Both are armed with submachine guns. Every town has its eccentrics, and Cement City is no exception. Dr. Vitus joins us on the track today. Driving the thing only known as the Death Trap, he seems to be a local favorite coming into today's race. The Death Trap is armed with a mine layer and a very powerful engine. Last but definitely not least is the monster truck Underdog. It's not the ideal vehicle for this kind of race, but it is still a monster truck, and the driver, Neon, is known for being a brutal opponent. Underdog does not have any mounted weapons to speak of, but it does have a front-mounted ram. Today's race will be a simple circle chase, a one-lap sprint across 2 gates and 1 finish line. The contestants must pass each gate in the direction of the arrows on them. Each contestant only has to touch the gate to consider it passed. The finish line, however, needs to be crossed completely for it to count. The first vehicle to pass directly over the finish line will be declared the winner. All weapons can be used straight out the gate, since most of the contestants still cannot afford professional weapon inhibitors. Underdog takes the first position on the line, going for the topmost edge. Roadrunner rolls up next to the monster truck. 8 o'clock settles in near the center of the line. And Death Trap takes the last slot down the other end. The contestants are ready and the line is formed, so all that's left is for everyone to start their engines. Right out of the gate, Dr. Vitus cranks up the massive engine on the Death Trap. The booster kicks in and sends the good doctor onto a massive lead. It is a risky maneuver, however, and the Death Trap does not look like it wants to be controlled. Dr. Vitus will not drop any mines, probably because he is too busy trying not to crash. The bounty hunter Xanadu will kick off the line in a much more conservative fashion. This leaves both vehicles behind her in oil slick range and the good doctor up front in machine gun range. A good volley from the bounty hunter could easily take down the doctor at this point, and it looks like that is exactly what she is trying to do. 8 o'clock has not taken down the Death Trap, but it has dealt out some damage. Roadrunner chooses to keep pace with 8 o'clock. The 2 cars barely avoid a sideswipe there, and Roadrunner has put itself into a prime position. From where they are, Johnny and Carrie could shoot at any of the other contestants. Both will opt to go for 8 o'clock the bounty hunter, unleashing a hail of bullets onto the orange car. 8 o'clock takes a load of damage, but Xanadu keeps it running. Underdog is currently taking up the rear. That is not good for the race, but it is also bad news for every car in front of the monster truck. And sure enough, Neon tailgates Roadrunner with that spiked ram. Underdog's giant wheels send it up and over. In one fell swoop, it also clips 8 o'clock, who is already in a bad way. I bet Xanadu wishes she dropped the oil slick instead of firing on Dr. Vitus. The 8 o'clock takes a further beating, but Xanadu keeps it in control and in the game. She uses the car's superior horsepower to try and slip away. 8 o'clock darts out from beneath the monster truck's crushing wheels, propelled forward by its already considerable momentum, straight into a tailgate with Dr. Vitus and his death trap. The two cars try to avoid each other to no avail, and Dr. Vitus loses control. The death trap is going fast, but not fast enough to send itself flying. However, Vitus loses all traction and decides to send the front of the car towards the 8 o'clock. Both cars are running on borrowed time, and it's all up to Xanadu to try and get out of the way. A valiant effort from Xanadu, but it is not enough. The 8 o'clock is officially taken out. However, this cascade of carnage is not yet done, and 8 o'clock's wreck plows right into the death trap. The good doctor tries to get away, but he is also taken out. The death trap's souped-up engine easily catches flame, and both cars are consumed by a brief explosion. I'm sure it's not enough to punch through the driver's fireproof armor, but that will be them for the race. We still have two contestants speeding their way around the track, and they will not be making things easy for each other. We see Roadrunner trying to escape from the belligerent underdog. Johnny Handbrake attempts to live up to his name with some fancy driving, the even parking lot surface making this much easier. We are now seeing some textbook handbrake action, as Johnny coaxes the car exactly where he wants it to go. There are no shots fired as they pull away from underdog. If they are trying to avoid Neon's attention, it is too little too late because they are the only two cars left on the track. Neon does some fancy driving of her own, throwing underdog around like a Martian float car. However, unless she does something fancy soon, I do not see her catching up with the car. Underdog is fast approaching top speed, while Roadrunner still has a fair bit of horsepower left. Johnny Handbrake continues with this huge drift, trying to land Roadrunner into position just past that container. This is driving we certainly would not be seeing if not for the smoothness of the track. Johnny Handbrake nails that drift, and now Roadrunner has a clear shot to the next gate. But are they clear of underdog? Neon is being forced to match Johnny Handbrake's driving here, except with a much larger vehicle. She makes a risky maneuver with the intent of a ramming, but ultimately lands short by a hair. Now she will also have to clear that container with the monster truck. She is not close enough to ram, but she is definitely close enough to shoot, and she will take a pot shot at the Roadrunner. Here in the Gaslands, handguns are standard issue. The monster truck bears down on Roadrunner, but the yellow car is only getting started. Johnny Handbrake once more living up to his name as he sends the Roadrunner screeching down the track in an extremely tidy maneuver. That's some fancy driving. This leaves Johnny with another clear shot at the next gate. And now the difference in speed between the car and the monster truck becomes apparent. If Neon has any fancy tricks, now is the time to pull them out because she is about to get left behind otherwise. First things first, she has to clear that container and get underdog through to the first gate. Neon follows Johnny Handbrake's lead, sending the huge monster truck into a drift of its own. Underdog rounds the corner, and all of a sudden that gap is nowhere near as big as it was. There is still a big speed difference, however, and looks like Johnny Handbrake is about to illustrate that right now. Once he passes the second gate, he'll still have a big turn to tackle, so going as fast as possible is not the brightest thing to do. But making that gap between him and Neon is still of utmost importance. And Johnny continues to push his luck with the fancy driving. The Roadrunner has a clear path to the finish so long as it does not flip itself taking that turn. A sharp hairpin turn veering close to the blue container would be the fastest way to the finish line. But the Roadrunner may not currently be capable of doing that. It looks like Johnny Handbrake is not keen to take any more risks, and he slows down the Roadrunner as he goes into the second gate, just barely missing the stack of pallets. Johnny's driving is getting tenuous, and if he does not get things under control, we may see the underdog catching up. Looking at the gap between the two contestants, it really does not seem like the underdog has much of an out here. Unless Neon rides that inside line really well, she is not going to catch up. Neon does try and go for the line, however there are stacks of pallets in the way and she will immediately crash into one. She is driving underdog though and she plows right through those pallets. Looks like she is taking advantage of her vehicle size and plowing through those pallets while hitting up the gates. Neon has done a fantastic job of playing to her vehicle's strengths in this race. Johnny Handbrake takes the scenic route as he tackles this turn, hugging the outside line as to keep their car steady. He's trying to avoid losing control and this is the way to do it. Neon, however, will do no such thing as she attempts to catch up. She needs to hit that corner at speed if she wants to catch up with Johnny. The truck can only go so fast, so she does not have much time left. Thanks to a safe start, she has been able to throw caution to the wind as of these last few moments. And she has just pulled off the same kind of big drift Handbrake did. But she does hers with that underdog twist. The drifting doggy driver damages the stack of devilish debris and it is duly disintegrated. Underdog has taken some damage from that entire ordeal, but I do not think Neon cares. Because she has tackled that corner in the best possible way and is now making a beeline for that finish. With her handgun, she takes a shot at the Roadrunner as if to remind Johnny that she is still in the game. The Roadrunner avoids the gunshot, and now all Johnny has to do is get it over that finish line. He is still in danger of losing control. Johnny Handbrake wrestles the Roadrunner back onto the road. This looks to be the fastest he is currently willing to push the car to. All Johnny needs is one more moment of stability and he will have won the race. The underdog is currently at top speed, so if Neon wants to get to that line, she's going to have to use the big truck's momentum in its favor. She has had a fantastic race so far, but let us see if she can push it any further than she has. The level, stable road once again works to the favor of our contestants, as Neon attempts a second risky big drift with her monster truck, once again nailing it. But it is not enough to send her over the line. Even though her wheels are still rolling and she will pass that line in just a moment, we still have to contend with Johnny Handbrake. The Roadrunner lines up and beats out Underdog just by a hair. Just like that, we have our first ever amateur division race winner. Oh, but it is not yet over. The wheels are still rolling, and the Underdog could still do some damage to the Roadrunner. Johnny and Carrie let loose with a volley, trying to stop Neon from plowing into them. Underdog is shot up, but that is not nearly enough to stop it from trying a T-bone. Neon drives the truck over the line, securing second place. But she also nails that ram she has been going for this whole race. Johnny Handbrake attempts to avoid it, but if this takes out the Roadrunner, that may change the outcome of this race. The Roadrunner just barely makes it out of that race, but it secures its place as the winner. Johnny Handbrake's racing debut has been long overdue, but he has lived up to his family's name. Neon also came out today with a tremendous performance, showing an extreme mastery of her monster truck Underdog. I'm sure the sponsors are keeping their eyes on these two contestants. The same cannot be said for Doc Vitus and his unlucky collision, unfortunately, though the explosion will cement him as a crowd favorite. The same could be said for Sanadu and her unfortunate driving decisions. But there will always be more races coming and more opportunities for everybody to get their shots at glory. And with that, we conclude our first ever amateur division race. I do hope the viewers back in Mars have enjoyed themselves as much as I have watching these Earthlings. We are just getting started here at Cement City Racing. There is so much more to come. But until then, this will be Cement City Racing signing off. Hey y'all, welcome to the Postmatch. Yeah, that was the first episode of Cement City. If you haven't guessed yet, it's going to be a battle report focus series, which will follow a Gaslands campaign as it progresses. Instead of following a theme or a single vehicle, we will be following a show in the Gaslands universe, which is Cement City Racing. Whenever I do the narration for the actual show itself, I'll be doing it in the broadcast voice, and I'll be trying to keep in character just to reinforce the narrative strengths of the system and of the campaign. I am using a whole bunch of house rules. No doubt those people familiar with Gaslands have already noticed. It's mostly to do with pole position, and like when someone counterclockwise of you spins the car, I just roll a scatter dice instead. It's to facilitate the fact that I am doing this solo, because it is just much easier to get the games done and to get the footage shot when I am just doing it by myself. And yeah, just as a side note, Gaslands is an excellent solo game. There are some caveats, like it's harder to keep track of things when you're playing by yourself, especially with 4 cars on the board. I forgot to shoot a few times with Roadrunner, and I forgot to shoot a bunch of times with Underdog. But we'll keep on top of it. I'm pretty sure I checked the hazards properly. I have a piece of paper for it and everything. If you catch me doing something wrong with the rules, let me know in the comments down below. I do appreciate it. I will be keeping track of the stats, of course. I will be keeping track of cans as normal. I have, however, made a lot of changes to the system in terms of how it handles the championship points. I'm gonna be keeping teams quite small in this campaign. There's gonna be a lot of focus on individual cars, their individual drivers. It helps to build the narrative. And as such, I'm going to make it so cars can have a lot more stuff on them for one. And also so that games have like maybe 6 cars tops. We'll see, we'll see. You've already seen the first injury rolls resolved. They were the ones that happened right before this post-match started. We'll be keeping those in the end of all the videos because I think they're quite high stakes and interesting to watch. If you're new to this whole system or to the concept of wargaming, I've also made a tutorial video. You can refer to it at your leisure. It is timestamped for your convenience. It is no substitute for the actual rulebook though. If you're interested in the game, I highly recommend getting into it. It is far more affordable than other wargames, and the hobby aspect is very interesting. If you're into miniatures and you've never customized the Hot Wheels before, it is a whole nother ballpark, man. And yeah, that is about us. I'm going to at some point make a PDF or a Word file of the house rules, just so it's clear to people who want to either follow along more deeply or to have a go at playing a solo campaign themselves. I want to commit to a weekly schedule, but I can't quite do that yet. Maybe in time? We'll see. In the meantime, smash that like button. Subscribe if you want to keep up with the videos. You know the drill. Thanks for watching, I really do appreciate it. Until next time.